One thing I read when reading on negotiations is when you negotiate with different cultures, like when we go over to Asia, right? When we go over to China, they're used to us just talking. They want to sit down and not speak for a long period of time, and it kills Americans. We want to get down to business, and I like getting down to business, but what the Chinese, what the Japanese, what a lot of those cultures understand, which I admire, is the power of the pause.
Emilio was saying there is power in the pause. And when people are looking to get information out, they often think that's just spewing information. And one of the greatest things we can do is just say nothing. For instance, if you've just made a point, stop talking for a second. This is why we keep on talking and don't pause. We know what we're going to say. We understand how it relates to our point or the points we're making or the discussion at hand. The person listening doesn't necessarily understand that. They have to process that information. And when we don't pause, we just keep on talking. We don't give them that opportunity to process it, to digest it. And that's a problem. Think if you were a comedian and every time you let a punchline land, you didn't pause for the laughter. You just kept on moving.
True.
In a few laughs or a few jokes, you teach your audience not to laugh. We don't want people not to think about what we're saying. So pause, relax, and let it go on. Well, the same thing goes for a question. We'll be talking, say you're doing a presentation, there's 12 people around a conference table, and you're doing a presentation. So you ask a question and you don't pause. Well, that means you've asked a question, whether it's an actual question or a rhetorical question. You didn't pause and let people answer it, even if they can't answer it, even if it's not a conversation going on. You want them to answer it at least in their heads. So pause after asking a question. Otherwise, again, you're going to teach them, I'm just rambling and not giving you time to do what you need to do. Answer that question. So if you're presenting and you say, what do you think you're going to do with this information you just heard? Pause for a few seconds. Let them answer that in their heads and then move on. Think if you're speaking to a friend and you sit down and you're having a beer or something, you say, Emilio, I got to tell you something important. You pause, right? It's the same thing when you present to 5 people, 50 people, 500 people. If you're going to say something important, emphasize it by pausing. I wouldn't say, hey, Emilio, I have something important to tell you. Bump, 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 bump. Next thing I want to talk about is this. You don't do that. You pause. And then after you say it, you pause again to let the person process that information. So to emphasize, pause before you say it and pause after you say it. Extremely important, extremely effective.